Danya Levinsohn. Welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
Hi, great. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. And can't wait to chat and dive in with you today. So we'll just start today. You started your career in corporate recruitment, but today you're actually guiding people to live more authentically, which I love. Was there a
Yeah.
moment in your life, in your corporate life or your personal life, where you realized that, maybe you weren't living as your true self?
Uh, I was studying, I was studying, that's where I started internships, was I was studying in speech language pathology. And I realized my senior year in college that I had an eye disorder. And when that was corrected, I started making straight A's. And I thought, well, that's strange. Who knew that the eye muscles weren't working properly? So in hindsight, looking back, I learned different skills. I learned to strengthen different skills and abilities that I had. My intuition, which we all have. I'm not special than anyone else. It's just sometimes people are put in situations where, for example, a person who might have a vision or a challenge, what am I trying to say? Any challenges or difficulties that they have, sometimes you learn to compensate or you learn other ways to learn. So the intuition is what I started working on. And as I realized that this was I wanted to help people and I wanted to do something in the helping and healing industry, but speech language pathology just wasn't doing it. So I fell into corporate recruiting. It was something that I was really good at. I really enjoyed it. I liked helping people with their jobs. Um, their lives were typically affected by their jobs as well. And so I found that I was actually coaching people on their life. So I decided I was a life coach. And then I found out later, this is not something I did not create life coaching. This actually was an industry, and this was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So I found a program that I really resonated with. I enjoyed the founder and what he stood for and what he represented. It's also a school that's accredited by the International Coaching Federation. So I became a certified life coach. And then I went through even more challenges for myself personally, for my clients, and as we went through the shifts and changes and we were able to heal through these and grow through these and evolve through these. This is what became my practice of intuitive empowerment coaching. So I bring a very wide breadth and depth of background. It's just I actually, when I began at the very beginning, I was an artist. I loved art, so I was always a true artist to begin with. I learned a lot in school. I learned a lot in life, and I bring all of this together. So that's what's brought me here today. That was a long story. So that was a really long story.
You're such a go-getter, which I absolutely love that about you. No, it was perfect. But you continue to evolve, and that's really inspiring, I think, for myself and a lot of people listening to this, is that, you never stop, evolving yourself, wanting better for yourself. And even when even the way that you meticulously approach barriers or challenges, some might say, whereas someone could just think that's it, or or I won't do change, I won't move forward, I won't pivot. You pivot so gracefully. Outside looking in, it seems so graceful, where you pick up and you're willing to make those changes. And now, present day, you have a coaching practice called the Outrageous Liberation, which is such a beautiful, bold name. What inspired that title for you?
Not a good name. And I thought, well, that's not how we make decisions. I always appreciate constructive criticism more than you can imagine because I I don't need to learn in a difficult way, but what I find and what I find with many of my clients is we have the answers inside. It's when you get to that pain point that you decide you want to change. Someone asked me the other day and they said, "Well, how do you make people change?" And I said, "I don't." You know, we we come to a point of awareness. That's the first step, I think, the awareness. And you're using your energy either way. So it's either going to help you or it's not helping you. It's coming from fear and worry, or it's coming from faith and trust and direction and inspired action. Please don't let me forget to incorporate that inspired action And there's a lot more that goes along with that, but yeah, it's really a powerful time right now. We're shifting. There's a lot going on astrologically as well, with the solar eclipse. So we're ending one cycle. We're just on the precipice of starting a new cycle, and we're right in that middle point right now. So this is really a time to take good care of yourself, find balance. And what I help people do, and this is again more with the awareness, is releasing what's not supporting you or assisting you anymore. You can move forward, you can heal through this. And that's what it was for me. It was a time where I just basically sat down and said, it's time to heal. Actually, it was something that sort of happened to me. I went in for laser hair removal, and it was going well. It was over there in downtown Chicago, and it was a med spa. And the third treatment, I received third-degree burns on my arms, and it was pretty horrific. And this was 20 years ago. So I had already started working remotely. We didn't have Zoom, we didn't have cameras looking at us. We were on the phone. And that's when I was in my condo, and my boss allowed me to keep my job. And as I was working remotely and I started reading, I started becoming more of a voracious reader because it was not something that I ever really enjoyed doing. And as I read more, um, I heard something say, you're not your body. And I thought, what in the world? And that was just one of many awakening moments where I realized, we're the ones we've been waiting for. We're here right now. This is it. We're seeing all the old, everything that's not working for humanity anymore. And this is all my opinion, my humble opinion, falling away. And there are many different people like you and myself who are here coming from a healed perspective, helping, supporting people, empowering people, encouraging people, right? And not doing the opposite. So, anyway, that's just a little short background. Anyway, that's just a little short background.
And that's great, and I love that you take, you don't just, you're not just talking to talk. Like you
Yeah.
walk it, you live it, and I imagine that helps you when you're helping your clients or individuals that you work with. I'm curious, listening to you, of what like a typical coaching experience is like for you. Does it start the same, and then you kind of like weave down the path of that individual's needs? But I'm just curious of what a typical coaching experience is like with you.
It's absolutely different for everyone. Just like, we're all different people. We've all had different experiences. Um, we all have different life situations right now. I I use I'm getting distracted right now. There are a lot of thoughts in my mind. It's really so this is identifying where a person is. What are their goals? Where are they? What are the factors that are impacting their life right now? It could be so many different factors. I had someone ask me the other day, why do I have increased stress over this situation? And I thought, that's a great question. It could be so many different factors. So we really dive into that with, what are some of the possible factors? There are many people who like to hire fitness trainers, and it's very important of what they eat, what they put in their mouth, how they exercise their body. And they have, what else do people have? So many different other private needs, but no one ever stops to think, where am I coming from? What is going on with my mindset? Am I still repeating certain programs? Um, are there certain behaviors or patterns? Or is there something that I can do different? Is there something I can substitute? I mean, it can be so many different things. So we walk through that. I also have other tools and information that comes to me. That's just what I've gained over my years of experience. And someone asked that recently too. They said, "Oh, intuition." I can say that Oh, what was it? Oh, that's a sign, or that's a sign. I actually, yeah, it comes to me very clearly. So I share that. I use different tools. Um, I also read cards. They're just something that I've always enjoyed doing. All of my work is from divine love, though. It's never anything, it's all from the divine. So they like to jump out as well. Sometimes people like that, sometimes they don't. I also use crystal energy healing. There's a lot of um, information and experience that I have that I use with each of my clients. So it's can be so many different items. And we just take it from there. So if we're seeing improvement, which we always usually do, or they want to check in, we make adjustments. It's just like a personal trainer or a dietitian. Sometimes people hire dietitians and they want help with their health. So it's finding that exact right one for you as an individual.
Sure. It sounds like you help people like become who they really are deep down and not who they've been told to be or who they feel like they should be based on like some other standards. But I want to kind of shift to
Mhm.
career transitions too, because I know those are never easy. It's a lot of people dealing with that right now in the country. What's a theme or trend that you see right now, or challenges that people are pushing through? Any advice that you could give to help people watching, just in how they show up during this difficult time with like career transitions?
Sure. I mean, it would be interesting to know exactly what the reason is for the career transition, though. If is it related to anything specific, or I'm not
Sure, like layoffs or company restructuring, even the difficulty of finding a job right now.
right.
A lot of companies are going under, a lot of companies are using AI technology versus hiring, people to do the work. And so those are a lot of missed or vacant spots that are no longer either being filled or someone else is filling them. Teams are kind of minimized, and so it leaves a lot of people without, a stable source of income. Leaves people making career pivots, or being forced to make career pivots, during this time as well.
hmm Yeah. So I first, what I would look into and identify is what skills do you have? What skills have you gained? Based on your experience, maybe it's not going to be the exact same position. Maybe, this is a time where you can be more flexible and um, it's a really good question because I'm not as familiar with it, it's usually specific to that one person to make a general statement, but I personally, what I also personally like, and what I think is something that we can control, is our mindset, our energy. So when we start with repetitive thoughts or repetitive statements, or there's nothing there, I'll never find something, and worry, 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 and fear, 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 and as people start waking up and realizing that they are energetic beings, again, this is not spiritual, it's not religious, it's actually science, it's quantum energy. So, there's a book by Dr. Masaru Emoto, The Hidden Messages in Water, and he takes pictures of water molecules and words spoken onto water molecules of fear and worry and hate, and then love, joy, and peace. And the water molecules actually shift and change. In you, it's tangible proof you can see this. And so, if you think about your body being over 70% water, and that again science, that the water molecules shift and change based on the words spoken onto them. What do they say in Hebrew? Abracadabra, I create what I speak. So and it's a lot of religions, it's not just one religion. um what are we speaking? How are we connecting? Are we allowing the energy to just yank us all around and move us all around, or are we using our energy in our as a sovereign being? And again, and also using what do I have, what are my skills? What am I willing to do? How can I take inspired action? How can I talk to other people? Maybe they know of someone who's hiring or looking to hire someone. Sometimes another person is the miracle we've been waiting for. You know, you never know when you're in a position to help someone else. That might be the help that they're looking for. So don't be down on yourself. Give yourself some grace. Know that you've gone through this before. You can do this again, and take good care of yourself. You know, don't let it take over you. So our energy is our currency. So be aware of, you know, where are you using your time? Are you going to sleep at night? Are you you know, until we take good care of ourselves, we can't take care of everything else around us either. And when you start taking better care of yourself, things start shifting around you. When you start practicing more gratitude, no matter what it is, I've used that example before. Um, I have lives and we get started in the morning and it's just me on it's just, you just hear my voice with a lot of water. Like I said, I've always been just more of a voice, but now I've got the video here. Um, so, how are we starting our day? Are we connecting? Are we practicing gratitude? You know, when I see dishes in the sink, I get excited. Like, that's right. You know, I have dishes. I have a sink. I have a kitchen. I'm so grateful. I don't like, oh no, I don't have to wash dishes. And that's just a very small, I mean, obviously, that's not a giant example, but when you start focusing on what you're grateful for, that's how you shift the energies. That's how you move the frequencies to allow what you're wanting. Again, it's all science to gravitate towards. So it's the vibration of energy and frequency. And I had someone ask me the other day, well, you know, what are some other things you use? Great, music. There's healing music. It's again science. 528 frequency hertz is love. When you're moving and there are all these new artists who create music with healing frequencies and successful frequencies and calming. I was telling my son the other day, for studying, why don't you find a studying frequency? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, please, I tell you. So um you know, connecting with nature or writing or prayer or helping other people, there's so many things that when we start focusing on that frequency, it's sometimes surprising what can come back to us. And it's again, it's not from a greedy perspective, you know, oh, I'm going to help because something, because you can't hide from the universe. Again, there's just laws of the universe, cause and effect, you know. So um, it's different for everybody. Know that you have skills, know that you have abilities, and if you're willing to work, put yourself out there, talk to other people if that's the situation you're in. You know, and I said that to someone one time and they said, oh yeah, I think my friend said that they're looking for people to work. And I said, great, go speak to that person. So getting back into community, speaking to people, you know, talking to people. Where are you? What's going on? What do you know of? Do you know of anyone who's looking for someone who has this or that? And we can all help each other. I think it's really a real authentic way. So.
You have done a phenomenal job of explaining that, you know, and I know at first you were like, I don't know that I can, you needed like more context. And I'm like, no, I know you have the perfect answer, just not only with your background, but then with your, you know, your prowess and your affinity for helping people be better, have a better mindset. And you dropped some really beautiful gems when you were telling me that about mindset shifts, and gratitude is so huge. And you're absolutely right. It can be, you can feel a little downtrodden if you're in any type of transition, let alone career. Any transition in life can
Hmm.
make us feel down or doubtful or we're overwhelmed, you know. And it's like you said, it's about appreciation in even the small things, even dishes in your sink. That means you had some food to eat on that plate
That's
and you're
right.
actually doing okay, you know. And
That's
like you
right.
said, tapping into community, whereas we might naturally revert to or hide away, like hide away in embarrassment or fear or whatever that negative emotion is, instead of continuing to do what you're already doing. Build community. That's a great tip. Build community. Go out and start talking about what you need. I think it's one of the most powerful things we can do is just, assert ourselves within community rather than hide out, and be alone. And so you said a lot of great things today, and at the root of that, it feels like authenticity to ourselves, and being true to what we feel like we need. Like I only nobody knows what I need more than me, versus expecting your
Absolutely.
family or your friends to be able to read your mind and go, she needs a job, or he needs support, he needs emotional support. I don't know what you need until you tell me. So if you could speak to what living, I think we hear that. What does living authentically look like day to day? But can you speak to what that looks like? You gave some great gems and alluded to that, but can you just kind of speak to
Yeah.
anybody that may be in those moments where they feel pressure, but what does that day to day look like?
We get used to, again, I actually believe, in my opinion, that we chose our family, we chose the group we were born into for our growth and evolution. And I am humbly grateful for all the experiences I've received and what's brought me to this point. So, and what I always hope to do is to just, if I can help one person from my experience and the humbling trauma I went through and what I learned, then I can, I can be at peace. So, what I can, and I'm going back to, I'm trying to remember the exact question you have, but there comes a certain time where you realize that um, what I've learned, someone taught me how to tie my shoe. I learned how to do this. I learned how to do that, and this is all beneficial and this is all helpful. And again, it could be any age. This could be any age. You could be a very young child. You could be still in middle age, whatever. But you get to a point where you realize that this is the one life. Everything I've learned or wherever I am right now is good for me. Um, but you might start waking, and this is what I'm seeing a lot right now, is people are starting to wake up. They're just, I'm not running around. That's what I used to think is, oh, I have to wake people up. I have to wake people up. And if you know me, you know I've been talking like this for at least 20 plus years. People used to really, they were curious, interested, but curious. So now what I'm seeing just with everything that's going on in the world and everything that people are being exposed to and all the shifts and changes. And again, it's not just for our career, there is not one person right now that isn't going through a major change or shift. Not one. There's not one person in some area of their life. So, um, as they are waking up or seeing things a little more clearly, this is a time to really tap in. And if there is healing work to do, move through the healing work that you can do. It's not the easiest. It's definitely changing your diet is probably easier than this. Or a new exercise regimen or something for your family. But when you start to heal yourself and you release all of this that's not supporting you or assisting you, this is what's allowing you to move into that future um, full of a lot of a possibility. So if the programs aren't working, if what you've been doing, if it's time for an upgrade, I think it's similar to a computer update where it's just not working anymore, and you say, "Okay, I'll do the update." So this is the time that it's on you. Like I said, someone said, "Well, how can you make a person change?" I said, "I can't." You get to a point where you realize I want the change. It's something deeper inside of me. And then you wonder, well, who's a coach in this arena? Who do I go to? Who can help support and assist me? Or you can do it on your own. There's support groups, there's support networks online. There's a lot of information. And I'm trying to circle back to the main answer here is, making the change for yourself, making the change for yourself. So when you start making the change and you start living who you truly are authentically and connecting to that energy, um, your entire life opens up for you. So it's a completely different, maybe I don't know if you can agree or you can attest to that or how that relates to you in any way, but maybe that's um, relevant. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
I like to think that although our paths, you meet people out in our paths are different, but we still share a lot of similar experiences. We've all generally experience times of doubt, times that we've needed to pivot, times we needed to embrace change, or times we didn't want to embrace change. Like, I don't want this change. I like things the way that they were.
Mhm.
We've all faced difficulty. And so it's like you're being handed the same things, it's just in a different way, and I love that we can support each other, and I love that people like you that go and create avenues for people to become better versions of themselves, to think better, to even be more gentler with themselves, because we can be our own worst critic, we can be hardest on ourselves, and someone
Mhm.
like you comes along and you say, you know what, I'm going to start a coaching practice so that I can help other people, because and that's such a selfless thing that you do. Like, you're worried about humanity, you're thinking of how to make people better when you could just eat your dinner and go to bed, but you think like,
Yeah.
I'm going to start a business, a company, a practice, and a way to create strategies. You probably keeps you up at night. Like, what could I do to help someone? Or you have clients that stay top of mind. And I just think that's really inspirational. And we need more people in the world that think of others like that, because I think that's what make the world, a better place. If everybody had that accountability, everyone had that person that had their best interest at heart. So I just commend you, and I just want to thank you for
Well,
the work that you do on the planet.
thank you. And I feel that I think there are plenty of us who all have the
Hmm.
same goal in mind. And I
Hmm.
truly believe that this is the time we've been waiting for. I know I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've felt it coming, and we can see it all around us right now. And I know someone said something, there's just a lot of quotes I think of, but Margaret Mead, what did she say? When a small group of individuals come around to change the world, I know I can't say the quote right, but it's the only thing indeed that it ever has. So a small group of committed individuals, and I truly believe that that's the time we're living right now. So thank you for everything you do too. It's really a pleasure to meet you. I am really grateful to meet you. So thank you so much.
Of course. Same here. Now, as we wrap up today, I have a few lightning round questions before we close up the interview today, if you don't
Sure.
mind. All right.
Yeah.
The first one is, what's a phrase or thought you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning?
Thank you. 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 Eckhart Tolle, I think he was the one who said that if that's the only prayer you said, that would be enough. And I just remind myself that I am awareness, that I am awareness. I'm connected to my higher self. And yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is, in my humble opinion, that's the better way to start your morning.
I agree. Next one is, what's one thing you refuse to cut out of your life no matter how busy you are? What do
uh,
you always make time for, no matter how busy life gets?
my son, I always make time for my son. My son was also born on Thanksgiving to be, as he said, to be grateful and thankful for me. So, yeah, he has had his own challenges through life, and he has also um, just taught me so much. He had many physical health challenges, and he is a miracle to be here today. So he always.
Love that. Love it. And I love how you love him. I love how you like a little sparkle in your eye when you talk
Yeah.
about him. So that's really sweet to the. And the last one,
Thank
if you
you.
could host an outrageous liberation retreat anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, that's good. Um, I would say maybe Egypt. Yeah, they're really, there's a lot of powerful energies there, and I'm very curious about that. So yeah, maybe Egypt. That would be
That's
different.
great. Yeah, that's a great response. Danya Levinsohn, I want to thank you for being my special guest right here on the Chandria Show. It's been a pleasure. If anyone is interested in connecting with you, taking part in your practice, booking you for engagements, or just following your journey in this life, what's the best way to connect?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to my website, outrageousliberation.com, or uh, follow me on my social media profiles. They're all outrageousliberation.com. Or you could send me an email at Danya@outrageousliberation.com.
The branding is top notch. Good job.
Yes. It's a long one.
No, I love it. Well, Danya, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.